Conservatives think we need to protect the people from government. We got too much government. Too many government answers, too much government meddling, all at the expense of individual freedom. We need to get back to the central constitutional principle that in America it is the content of your character that matters, not the color of your skin. That it doesn't matter where you come from, but where you're going. In an America blind to color. An America that champions the individual, that recognizes merit. There is no room for debate that denigrates certain people based on their heritage or their origin. We can secure the border of this country and reform our immigration system without inflammatory rhetoric, without that base appeal that will try to divide us by race, by culture, or creed. And let me be crystal clear here. For those of us in Christ, our citizenship first and foremost is in God's kingdom. Our brothers and sisters are those who are made in the image of God. And our obligation, after loving God with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, is to love our neighbors as ourselves, regardless of where they come from. Demeaning people of Hispanic heritage is not just ignorant, it betrays the example of Christ. We can enforce our laws and borders, and we can love all who live within our borders without betraying our values. It is time for us to elevate this debate from divisive name-calling, from sound bites without solutions, and start discussing how we will make the country better for all if a conservative is elected president. And let me say something. I know a little bit of something about enacting conservative principles because we've done it in my home state. During my 14 years as governor, Texas created nearly 1/3 of all the jobs created in America. We passed balanced budgets, we cut taxes, we set aside billions of dollars for a rainy day. We elevated our high school graduation rates to the second highest in America. I want you to keep in mind, in 2003, Texas was 27th in the nation in high school graduation rates. This is a state that's pretty diverse. This is a state that in the year 2000, the population in our public schools became a majority minority. This is a diverse state, Kathy. Ethnically, culturally, geographically, economically. We got a high number of young people who have English as a second language. It's not the easiest bunch of kids in America to educate. And we were 27th in the nation in 2003. Some people would say, you know, that's pretty good, actually being in the middle of that with 4+ million people in that state and that diverse a population. But we didn't think so. I didn't think so. And we started putting policies into place. We put policies into place that really made a difference. We had the largest teacher incentive pay program in America. We had a huge expansion of charter schools. We started testing kids in the 4th and the 8th grade and testing where it matters, where we could intervene and get them back on track. And in a 10-year period of time, we went from 27th in the nation to the second highest high school graduation rates in America. That's conservative governance. That's given people the opportunity to succeed in life and not have to depend on government. We didn't. Interesting, we based all of that success that happened in that state on conservative principles. We let people keep more of what they work for. We didn't overtax them or overregulate them. We had the most sweeping tort reform in the nation. And it mattered. If you were a pregnant female from El Paso to Brownsville, that is 1,200 miles. In 2003, you had to leave that county to get prenatal care. but because of the tort reform that was put in place, because of those conservative policies that were put in place, individuals across that region of the state now have access to health care. This has been about access to health care. This is about the Christus Spahn Hospital System in Corpus Christi serving South Texas and a fairly high minority population that saves $100 million a year in defense costs. That's $100 million that can go back to doctors and nurses and technicians and technology and buildings, making people's lives better. That's what conservatism is really all about. And we've got to get back to it. We can do this. It can be done. It can happen all across America. I'm going to tell you, 2016 is the most important election of our lifetime. I know you hear that every time there's an election. This just happens to be the truth this time. It's true because we have had 6.5 years. 6.5 years of expanding the welfare state and a contracting of the freedom state. There are two visions for America. The government-run welfare state, like you might find in the state of Washington or California or New York. And you got the limited government freedom states, like you find in places like Texas or Louisiana or South Carolina or Florida. The centralized state offers more regulations and less freedom. A world where everything costs more, from college tuition to the cost of housing to the price of government. Their answer to our current economic mess is more government solutions, more tax dollars placed in the hands of bureaucrats, more distribution schemes, and a shrinking pie for the middle class. I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said, the problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of spending everybody else's money. But it doesn't have to be that way. With the right nominee, we can cut taxes on corporations and individuals. We can unleash growth and create jobs and lift wages. We can create opportunity by drilling for American energy and selling it all around the world. We can restore our reputation abroad by reasserting our moral authority, by standing with our allies like Israel, by standing up to our adversaries like Iran. We can be the America that we know in our hearts we are meant to be, a nation of ideas and innovations, a place where freedom flourishes, that special land that those heroes at Normandy died for. Conservative principles applied consistently will make the better place for all of us, but especially those minority Americans. More African Americans are living in poverty today than they were when President Obama took office. That's government programs instead of creating new incentives for people to work. We can improve the lives of Americans' minorities. The formula is simple. Stop these politically correct regulations that keep housing from a single mom. Let the low and middle income Americans keep more of what they make. Challenge all of our kids to excel in school. We did that in Texas. And you know what the result was? An extraordinarily powerful economic place. From 2007 through the end of 2014, 1.5 million jobs were created in that one state, while the rest of the country collectively lost 400,000 jobs. Those Those are conservative policies. It is a place where life was protected and people flocked there. They came in droves. We added some 6 million people to our populations during that decade. And in case you're asking or you're thinking, it wasn't because the weather's so great in August that they came. They came there because there's still a place where freedom matters, where freedom reigns. For me, the message has always been greater than the man. The conservative movement has always been about principles, not about personalities. Our nominee should embody those principles. He or she must make the case for the cause of conservatism more than the cause of their own celebrity. I still believe in the power of that message, a message that offers hope, redemption, and solace in the midst of storms. When I gave my life to Christ, I said, your ways are greater than my ways. Your will is superior to mine. Today, I submit to you, His will remains a mystery. But some things have come and become very clear to me. That is why today I'm suspending my campaign for the presidency of the United States. We have a tremendous field of candidates. Probably the greatest group of men and women. I step aside knowing our party's in good hands as long as we listen to the grassroots, listen to that cause of conservatism. If we do that, then our party will be in good hands.